Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. What used to do in mornings. I'd like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Inuit, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. The members of the panel today are joining via Zoom, Ms. Gail Anderson and Mr. Jerry Arnold. Our assessor today is Mr. Arka A. Darkanoff, and our administrative personnel today is Mr. Tristan Bredan and Ms. Fran Paquito. My name is Bill Moreski. I will be chairing the panel as well as this meeting. To the Zoom participants of the hearing, please note you are placed in the waiting room until your property is called upon. When it is your turn, you will be admitted into the meeting. Kindly follow along on the City of Winnipeg's Board Revision YouTube channel for the hearing process. Once the host admits you into the hearing, please close or mute your YouTube player. You will then be permitted to speak with respect to your property. Once your hearing has concluded, you can leave the meeting. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. We will be hearing items 1, 2, 7, and 8 on our docket today, and we will begin with item number 1. Please, Mrs. Paquito, please affirm the assessors and the applicant's testimony.
Mr. Assessor, please state your full name.
Arka Darkhanov.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I affirm.
Thank you. Mr. Applicant, whichever one of you wants to go first, please stand. Please state your full name.
Paul Joseph Couture.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. You may be seated. Mr. Applicant, please stand. Please state your full name.
Raymond Couture.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Okay, we will proceed then to item number 1, 221 Webster This is an application for revision of assessed value. We have a preliminary issue with regard to this property, being a late submission from the applicant, which I believe is brief 2, correct? Second brief, which is some photos.
Yes, I included some photos once I had the assessor's comparable properties, asked that to be included in my evidence. Okay.
The panel will go in camera to consider whether we will accept that late submission, that particular evidence. Are there any other preliminary issues from each party on this property?
Not for me.
Okay.
Well, I did speak to the property owner earlier today about this property, and I did make a recommendation of value of $190,000, and just wanted to see if property owner is accepting it or not.
Okay, well, we will proceed to that when we begin
Okay.
your presentation. Okay.
If you could please.
So we will in camera for the late submission issue.
That's it. We didn't even do anything under reading.
Okay, we are back in order. The panel has considered the matter with regard to the late submission from late brief from the applicant, and we have decided we will hear the evidence. Mr. A. Darkenoff, if you can begin your presentation, read in the property, and then you can proceed to your recommendation. Oh, you're muted. Unmute yourself there.
Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so subject property with the roll number 09008 098500, street address 221 Webster Avenue, located in a neighborhood of Transcona South, is a 1.5-story single dwelling with a year build of 1946 and same year effective age, which is 1946. Living area 1085 square feet. It has a full basement, no basement finish, 1 full bathroom. It doesn't have a central air conditioner. It has a detached multiple garage. Lot size 5,583 square feet. Land influences are bus route, commercial adjacent, light traffic in the park. The 2025 assessment roll is $211,000, and which comes out to be $194.47 per square foot. There is a recommendation that I would like to place on for this property after my inspections that I did, exterior inspection that I did, which would be $190,000.
Okay, Mr. Sure. Either one of you, how do you feel about that recommendation?
I'd like to thank ARC for looking at the property, driving by and doing a re-evaluation on the property. I believe the $190,000 reduction is still a little on the high side.
Okay. So, Mr. Darkenoff, then you can proceed with the remainder of your presentation.
Okay. And before I continue, so the additional evidence, was it for item number 2 on the docket? Or this one?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
The recess you took regarding the late submission, was it for this item on the docket, or was it for item number 2 on the docket?
Item number 1.
Item number 1.
Item number 1.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I don't think I received it if it was sent to me.
It was some photos, some additional photos.
Yeah, I don't have anything in my inbox.
You send that to Mr. Dartmouth?
Well, all right, well, I'll proceed, and if I get the pictures, then we'll address.
Got it to you in the meantime.
Yeah. So the four comparables are all located in Transcona South neighborhood. Comparable number one is 121 Borden Avenue, is a 1.75 story single dwelling built in 1920 with a 1930 effective age. It's 1,128 square feet with a full basement and no basement finish, one full bathrooms. It has central air conditioner. It has a detached single garage. Lot size is 5,576 square feet. It has a community recreational building as a land influence. This property was sold in August of 2021 for $220,000. Time adjusted sale price is $235,000.
Mr. Dartmouth, can you just speak up a little bit more?
Okay, I can try. Maybe so. Let's see. Comparable number to 121 McFadden Avenue is a 1.5 story single dwelling built in 1912 with a 1952 effective year build. It's 878 square feet house with a part basement. No basement finish. It has central air conditioner and one full bathroom and one half bath. No detached structures. Smaller lot size, 2,899 square feet. Bus route and light traffic as a land influence. This property sold in July of 2021 for $218,000. Time adjusted sale price would have been $235,700. Comparable number three is 1115 Copland Street. Is a one-story single dwelling built in 1957. Same year effective age, 846 square feet of living area, full basement, no basement finish, has a full bath, and it also has a detached single car garage. It has a large lot size of 16,645 square feet with a commercial adjacent and school as an influence. This property sold in August of 2022 for $299,000. Time adjusted value is $287,900. And the last comparable is 117 Borden Avenue, is a 1.75 story single family dwelling built in 1915 and the effective year built is 1930. 1,008 square feet, part basement, no basement finish. It has one full bathroom and a detached single car garage. 5,576 square feet with a community recreational building as a land influence. This property sold in October of 2020 for $209,900. And the time adjusted value would have been $248,500. I did drive by the properties on Thursday of last week, and subject property would be considered in the inferior condition to all of the comparables. All of the comparables are in a better condition. They have been maintained, whereas subject property doesn't appear to have been, at least on the exterior, doesn't look like it has been maintained very well, and it does show significant signs of wear and tear on the subject property. As far as best comp goes, in my opinion, it would be comparable number one. It also showed a bit of like MLS pictures did show a bit of did show it being dated, but not worn out. So with that, adjusting downwards for subject property was my recommendation of $190,000. And let me just, I think I got the email, so let me just take a quick look at it. Okay, so 113 Copland, McFadden. Okay, so it's just a street views, right, of Google Street Views of some of the properties. Okay. Okay. No, And that's my presentation, and I'm open to your questions.
Okay, so which one of you will be asking the questions?
I will.
Paul?
Yes.
Mr. Paul Couture, do you have any questions for the assessor on his presentation?
I'd just like to start off with the clarity of the effective year built and how, what that sort of implies.
Okay, well, effective year built implies some of the renovations that have been done to the property that would extend the life of the building. What I'd like to understand is the change that has taken place on the property. Now, the initial increase was for $33,000. Now subsequently reduced by 12,000. But what change would apply to this property to justify the increase? Okay, I just want to get clarification. Initial increase, do you mean like the assessed value of $211,000?
Correct.
And what change would justify? Well, and your question is change to the property? Well, overall market change drives, for the most part, is what affects the changes in assessed value. Properties by themselves typically are not updated every year to like some are, of course, some properties are being renovated, but it's a small percentage of overall properties in the city. But overall market um, and change in market prices, which has been increasing in the past little while, drives like contributed to the $211,000 assessed value.
Thank you. If I can, I'd like to do just a brief history on this property in terms of what I've done with the assessment value.
Yes, you can do that when we get to your presentation. We'll just go through our questioning process and then we'll get to your presentation. Okay.
Okay, other than that, essentially, I have no additional questions for the assessor. He did review the property and I'm very happy with that. And he has seen the comparable properties, which I've added for pictures, which I'd like to discuss when my turn.
Sure, okay. Ms. Anderson, do you have any questions for the assessor?
Just in regards to the recommendation that you have, Mr. Assessor, $190,000, what does that calculate to as a square foot value?
Okay. $175.12.
175.12?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And overall in that neighborhood, can you advise the percentage of market value increase overall in that neighborhood? Do you have that?
And I probably do. I do have it. Just the question caught me off guard. I don't have it right in front of me. I can get it for you though, if you give me a minute.
Thank you. It will be helpful, as you indicated, that properties, despite not having improvements, the market influences the percentage of increase. So that would be
Yes.
helpful.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in that market region, it would be 13%.
13%?
Yes.
13%
Mm-hmm.
since the last reassessment.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Those are all my questions. Thank you for your presentation.
Mr. Arnall, any questions for the assessor?
Just the one, you indicated you did a drive-by. Did you attempt to see the inside of the house at all?
Yeah, I did talk to property owner about it, but he wasn't available.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I do not have any questions. They've all been asked, so. Mr. Co-Chair, you may begin your presentation.
My question with regards to these properties, I'm gonna say two of them because I do have both of them. Both started with the 2012 assessment. The assessor on board at that time, I requested they do a drive-by. And as a result of the drive-by, the assessment was reduced significantly. I had hoped that that would be the starting point of a fresh area. But in 2016, I ended up with another increase, a very large increase in assessment value. Again, at that point, I talked with the assessor, Stratton at the time. We reviewed the information, and again, he applied a very large decrease in the assessment value. And I also asked an additional question of how to set it up so I wouldn't have this issue in the future. 2019, I had a second assessment, another assessment done. Again, the assessment value was significantly increased. I spoke with Catherine Smith, who reviewed the information and again did a significant reduction in the assessment value. Just like to make a note in the discussion with her, she had done a comparison for a lot on Harrison Avenue and found out when she looked at the images that it was very, very unfair in comparison to my property. As the assessor has currently pointed out, it does show a lot of need for work on the property. Again, I had asked for a question of how I could sort of prevent this from becoming a future issue. Again, documents were supposed to be made available so that the city would be able to do a proper evaluation, but apparently it's not. In March of this year, when I contacted the assessment department, Drew, I asked them to review that information, and basically I was told the only way that I could get a decrease in assessment was to appear before the board, and here I am. Subsequent to the application that I've done on that one, I took a look at, I used Google Maps to get an image of my property. So you should have two images showing my property, a general view of the property, and then a closer in view look of the property. I'd like you to take a look at the windows themselves. What you should be able to see is that those are basically original windows from when the house was built, which would have been somewhere in the 40s. The actual build date is unknown, I guess, on my part. But either way, those windows go back to when the house were built somewhere about 80 years ago. The property would require significant improvements to bring it into a comparable market state. When I took a look at the comparable properties, if we take a look at property at 1115 Copeland Avenue, has similar structure in terms of a stucco exterior and updated windows. And when compared to mine, there should be a distinct difference between the two properties. The property at 121 McFadden has had exterior siding, looks like exterior siding replaced, as well as additional windows upgraded on the property. And the same thing applies to the property at 117 Boardroom Avenue. The 121 Boardroom Avenue does have what looks like a stucco exterior, but also very well maintained compared to what my property would be. When I take a look at the amount of work that would be necessary on my property at 221 Webster versus the work that has been done on these additional properties, I see that there would be a considerable requirement of investment of funds to bring the property into a position where if they were both on the market at the same time, there would be some incentive to look at my property. One of the challenges that I'm looking at is to say, if I'm going to compare my house to one of these other comparable houses, how much would I need to invest to be able to sell close to where those properties would sell to? I would like to have done that, but I didn't have the comparables before Friday of last week. So I believe that the house would need considerable investment of funds to bring it into a comparable state with the existing properties that are there. Any questions?
Anything further? Okay. Mr. A. Darkinoff, any questions for the applicant?
No, I don't have any questions.
Mr. Arnall, any questions for the applicant?
No questions at this time.
Ms. Anderson, any questions for the applicant?
Yes, I have a couple of questions. Thank you for your presentation. This property, do you live at this property or is it?
I do live at this property.
You live at this property? Okay, and you indicated that it would be quite costly to upgrade the property. Do you have any estimates of work or quotations?
I have no official quotations since I hadn't started this venue until it became obvious to me that I would have to appear before the board and I would have the comparable properties to work with. But if I take a look at just the windows themselves, without having a specific estimate, I would have to guess that the cost of the material alone would be somewhere in the $30,000 to $40,000 price range to replace the windows and bring them up at least to current standards. Again, all the windows in the house are original. There's no new windows whatsoever in that house. They still do their work. They still keep out the elements, but I cannot say that it keeps out the elements effectively.
Okay, and there's a detached garage on the property.
There's two garages, one garage at the back of the property, which is part of 221 Webster. In the initial image, you'll see a garage on the front that belongs to the vacant lot, which is adjacent to the property.
Okay, your property as well?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Those are all my questions. Thanks for your presentation.
Thank you.
So these other properties that you used for comparisons, 1113 Copeland.
1115, sorry, 1115 Copeland.
On the other three, do you have the values, the sale prices for those properties?
The value that the city has quoted in their documentation is what I would have on that. So,
Do you have the sale prices for them?
the city says that the 121 Borden Avenue had a sale price of $220,000 effective August of 2021.
220 for what was it, 121 board?
That's for 121 Borden.
That's a two-story though, right?
That's the 1 3/4 story building.
Board.
Somewhat similar exterior structure based on they have a stucco, so you should have that in the image, 121 Borden Avenue.
And 117 Borden, or what, 117 Borden?
117 Borden had a sale price of $209,000 in October of 2020. This one has upgraded siding, completely upgraded siding on the outside, so the entire house has been re-sided as well as upgraded in terms of the windows themselves.
Is that anywhere in your presentation, those numbers that you're giving me?
They are in the city assessment documentation. These are information that are coming from what the city assessment has provided for comparable properties. I have no sales value that I was able to achieve on those properties. I have no access. to
Okay,
them.
so you're using the same ones that the
Accessory use.
city provided, okay.
Correct.
Excuse me, yeah. Okay, no further questions.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, can I ask another question, please?
Sure.
Okay, I was just, what is it that you're asking for as a fair assessment?
The term fair assessment is to me an interesting aspect. As a senior individual in fixed income, and I take a look at what would this property be able to sell for? That's what I'm trying to establish. I could contact realtors or adjusters, estimators to get values, essentially find out what they would put it on the market for. But one of the issues is going to be who's going to want to buy the property. And basically what they always tell me is this is going to be a fix 'em up type property, somebody who wants to get into there and do a fix the house property. I would have to estimate that if I can find the values of what it would cost me to fix the property, to put it into a resaleable condition, to get close to these prices here, I would have to spend probably somewhere in the area of $50,000 plus dollars. Never mind finding out whether there's any structural damage on the inside because that house has not been opened up to the environment. So when I open the windows, will I find damage to the interior? Will I find damage to the walls? So I'm thinking that a fair assessment would be somewhere where that $50,000 would then reflect into the sale price. If I could sell it for $220,000, that means I should be assessed at somewhere $170,000. I would consider a fair assessment to be more in the low 80s, 180, 181, 181,000, somewhere along that line.
Okay, thank you.
Anything from either party in summation? Mr. Darkanoff, anything in summation?
Well, no, I think we've discussed pretty much everything about this property already.
Mr. Kutcher, anything in summation?
No, I think that's covered.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your presentations.
Thank you.
And you would be both remain for the next property, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that concludes item number 221 Webster. And we can now move to item number 2. Just file 24-555. There is no submission from the applicant from you on this one.
That's correct.
Any preliminary issues? Read party or proceed? Mr. Darkanoff, any preliminary issues?
Not on my end, no.
Okay, Mr. Darkanoff, you can begin your presentation on this property.
Just give me 1 second. I need to open the file. Okay. So, subject property with the roll number I'll start over. Subject property with the roll number 090080980000. Not an exact street address, but it does have a location on Webster Avenue. Lot 36, block 23, plan 1505, parish ramp, or just I think it should say RCMP probably, but it's kind of blurred on my printout. Let me just double check. Yeah, it is RCMP. Okay. Parcel use code is ResOT, so it's located in Transcona South neighborhood. It's zoned R1L Res SF large. It's 2,792 square feet. Land influences are bus route, commercial adjacent, light traffic, and park. Assessed value for 2025 is $86,000, which comes out to be $30.80 per square foot. The comparables are not in the same neighborhood. They are in the neighborhood of Melrose. And comparable number one is 317 Pandora Avenue. It's a 3,240 square foot lot, sold in April of 2022 for $130,000. Time adjusted value 135,800. It has bus route, commercial adjacent, and medium traffic as an influence. Another comparable number two is located at 425 Melrose Avenue East. 2,700 square foot lot, sold in February of 2021 for $94,000. Time adjusted value is $103,900. Comparable number three is 504 Regent Avenue East, located at Melrose neighborhood. Lot size 3,305 square feet. Has a bus route and medium traffic as influence. Sold for $100,000 in July of 2020. Time adjusted value is $113,600. Last comparable is 335 Melrose Avenue West. It's a 2,700 square foot lot, sold in February of 2020 for $99,000. Time adjusted value is $114,700. Now, if I guess on the page 2 you will see the map, and to be clear, where subject property is on the bottom part of the map, and all of the comparables are on the upper part of the map. They are on the other side of the railroad tracks. So all of the comparables are north of Pandora Avenue, and subject property is south of Dugald Road. Comparables are, in my opinion, in a superior location for a vacant lot situation. Hence, overall value of comparables is higher, and those are the best comparables available for subject property, unfortunately. And so there are at least around 20 to 30% higher value than subject property at $86,000. Comparable number one is 58% higher. Comparable number two is 21. Comparable number three is 32%, and comparable number four is 33%. Given the superior location of comparables, subject properties value being lower than those comparables by such a percentage, and at $86,000 for a lot in Winnipeg does appear to be supported. That's my presentation, and I'm open to your questions.
Raymond, you're handling this property?
No,
Okay. Oh, okay, Mr. Kutcher, any questions for the assessor? Presentation.
I do, and you mentioned the fact that the property is north of the tracks, north of Duber Road, as well as north of Simonton Yard. It's not just the track, but this is actually Transcona Shops. Transcona Shops are here, and then we go north of that. Your estimate is that that north side of the Transcona Shops and the highway are superior. In other words, would that classify as being in higher demand by the developers to buy these smaller lots?
Not the higher demand. I would say that price point would indicate the demand, but the location overall is more desirable.
And you estimate what prevents the South Transcona side where my property is to be in less demand? Or would be less demand on that side of it?
Well, overall area is in I guess is less developed. So there is lots of vacant land and there's still larger fields in Transcona South area.
Is there a minimum lot size on which property can be built on?
There are City of Winnipeg zoning bylaw does indicate minimum lot size, and I believe it has to be around 25 feet frontage for a single family. Depends what you want to build, right? Like we're talking about single family construction. Is a 25-foot frontage? Yeah.
Drainage has always been an issue in our area. I'm assuming that is going to have an impact as well in terms of the values of the properties in the area.
Well, I did mention that location of subject property is in a less desirable area, and the drainage probably is one of them as well.
I think I have no more questions at this time. Thank you.
Mr. Arnall, any questions for the assessor?
No, not at this time.
Ms. Anderson, any questions for the assessor?
I have no questions. Thank you.
So what is the frontage of this property? Subject property?
Just give us. I don't have that information right now, but I can get it if you give me a second.
I can answer the question if that's acceptable.
Uh,
Would you like the applicant to answer the question?
sure.
25-foot lot.
25 foot. Okay, just some more questions for the assessor. I still have. Are there in the location of the subject property, are there other houses in that area adjacent to the property?
Yes. Actually, item number 1 on the docket is one of the houses adjacent to the property. And it's adjacent to the north of it. South property is also vacant land, but then there are other houses to the north and south and to the east. It backs into a park. It's,
So those ones in the on that street, are they all
Yeah.
25-foot frontage?
uh, except for the property right next to it, which appears to be same width, other properties have larger frontages. And this is coming from just I guess just a quick view at the map.
So was that lot split then? I thought that one was it a part of a splitting up of a bigger lot or?
Mm, I don't have that information right now. Wouldn't know.
I have no further questions then. Mr. Kutcher, you may begin your presentation.
Thank you. The vacant lot is actually 1/2 of a 50-foot lot, so there's actually a 50-foot vacant area on this in this area that I'm looking at, of which I own only 25 feet of it. I own the northmost 25 feet. There are other properties in the area, either on Borden or McFadden, where they would be a 50-foot lot with an added on 25-foot lot, but most of them are being treated as one uniform lot package, if you will. Whereas in my case, there's a separate title for the 25-foot lot and a separate title for the residents of 221 Webster Avenue. But the lot themselves, the 25-foot vacant lot itself, is only half of a total 50-foot vacant lot. Again, my issues with this lot began in the 2012 assessment, whereby I approached the city about the assessment value of this lot. Apparently vacant lots are treated differently in that there is no opportunity to adjust the assessment value except through the Board of Revisions. I did approach the board in 2012, subsequently in 2016, and for the 2016 tax year, assessment year, I should say, and again for the 2020 assessment tax year. The information I presented on those values were from realtors who took a look at the property and said, the area is very nice and also has a very strong rural setting type environment. We have farmers' fields within a block and a half of the properties that we are in. The assessor, the realty agents that I had talked to on those 3 different occasions all mentioned the same thing to me, in that the 25-foot lot by itself would be a much harder sell than if I owned the full 50-foot lot section. Can't say that I had an interest in doing that. They also mentioned the fact that having a lot on the South Transcona side, south of the highway, would be a bigger challenge to sell, would essentially require more effort to sell than it would be if on the north side of the Transcona yards themselves. And as such, they reduced the values of the lot, what they would be able to sell for, usually in the area of 10 to 15%. I did not approach a real estate agent in this year, and that nothing has really changed for that lot. It's still going to suffer the same dilemmas. So the only way that I can appeal assessment on that lot is to appear before the board, which I am doing today. I will point out that the area, South Transcona area, on the north is basically bordered by Dougal Road, which is a major intersection, major roadway of traffic. We have the Dominion malting plant on the corner of Webster and Highway 15. We also have 2 businesses on that corner as well. One is a used car dealership lot, a no cash, no credit, no problem type of business. And the other one is a trailer sales service area where they service their trailers on that area as well. The assessment values for 2012 on that lot was reduced from what the city projected. And again, in 2016 for the assessment, the year of 2016, it was reduced. And again, for 2020, it was reduced again. I don't know how an increase of essentially $10,000 is justified on that lot. Especially since the neighboring lot has an increase of around $4,000. If the value went up by 4,000, I should go up by 4,000. The lots are essentially side by side. They're adjacent. I mean, it's part of a 50-foot lot.
Okay, anything further?
That's yes.
Okay. Mr. Agarkanoff, any question for the applicant of this presentation?
And no, I do not.
Ms. Anderson,
Yes. Just, you mentioned that you had spoken with a real estate agent in regards to the property. Was that recently that you spoke?
No, I mean, this is going back to 2012 assessment where I had a real estate agent come in and give me a value of selling this lot and the problems of selling the lot, which was essentially it's a 25-foot lot, even though there's 50 feet there, but I can only sell 25 feet. And therefore they reduced the value considerably. The same issue in 2016 assessment, another agent that came in and gave me the same information. And in 2020, I had the same thing, and I had the same information in 2020. I did not approach one for this current assessment.
Okay, thank you. And so right now the property is a vacant lot that you maintain. Do you utilize it?
It is a vacant lot. Essentially, I have the older garage that's in the picture that was in my other property where you can see a picture of the older garage. And I do use that garage and I maintain the lot, actually maintain both sides, and then I cut the grass on the full 50 feet just to keep the grass in check. Other than that, yes, I use the lot in terms of walking on it and enjoying the open areas of it, but yes.
Okay, so that older garage is on that lot.
Correct.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. And yeah, those were the other question that I had, what value are you seeking? What value are you requesting, sir?
As I say, the adjacent lot went up by approximately $4,000, and I would consider that very fair for this lot as well. I don't know how one can go up considerably higher than the other.
So
That would make me about $80,000, I think it is, because right now it's assessed at 76 or 78,000. 76,000, I think is where it's.
Okay,
I don't have that.
and the assessment for 2025 is proposed at 86,000.
86,000, yes, a $10,000 increase.
So you're requesting, you're suggesting a 82,000, is that?
$80,000 assessment.
80,000, okay. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for attending and your presentation.
Thank you for clarifying that for me.
Those are all my questions.
Mr. Arnault?
Do each of those 25-foot lots have an access to the street?
No, only one, mine.
Yours?
Correct.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
So is it, this empty lot is adjacent to the 221 Webster?
Yes, it is. That's correct. The 221 Webster 50-foot lot, and then immediately on the south side of that is the beginning of the 25-foot lot.
South side of it.
Yes. So in my original picture, if you can refer to that, you should see the garage, the north side of the garage where the bush is. That would be the beginning of the 25-foot lot.
You mean the picture with the truck over on the left side? Is that the one?
Yeah, it's the one that shows it's the back shot of 221 Webster Avenue. You should see a trailer in front of the garage, and then you should see the garage of the bush, and there's a truck on the back lane side of that picture. If that shows up in there. I'm sorry, I don't have that picture here in front of me, so I can't visually recall it. Garage is a much older garage. It's significant value is not large.
Okay. I have no further question. Anything in summation, Mr. Agarbanov?
Just a brief summation that the assessed value for subject property is $86,000. Comparables are presented in a better neighborhood, and the assessed value being significantly lower percentage-wise, like normally around 30% lower than the comparable sales would indicate a proper proper price point difference when comparing to neighborhoods. And that's all. Thank you.
Anything in summation, Mr. Pritchard?
Only to reiterate that, the agents that I talked to, are very strongly, advised me that I would have a much harder time selling the lot. If I could move it to the north side, it would be much easier and it would be worth a lot more. And the board in the past, on past three, presentations have agreed with those values. The area is subject to misconceptions, if you will, in terms of it's a very nice area to live with. It's very enjoyable, but not always classified as being a city area.
That then will conclude item number 2, file 24-555. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you for your time. I thank all the board members and the assessor for their information on the property, and
Okay, thank
Enjoy
you.
the beautiful day out there. We'll be stuck in here.
I will do the best to enjoy it for you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Does anybody need a break?
Yeah, let's take a short break if we can.
Can we take 5 minutes then?
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, we're gonna take a 5-minute break. Okay, we are back to order. And our next item is number 7, 266 Cathedral. Ms. Picoto, would you please swear in the applicant?
Mr. Applicant, please state your full name.
Mackenzie Davidia?
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay, 266 Cathedral is an application for revision of assessed value amount. Mr. Assessor, Mr. Dokonoff, would you please begin your presentation?
So subject property with the roll number 140527620000. Street address 266 Cathedral Avenue, located in St. John's neighborhood. Is a 2.5-story building with building code as multifamily conversion. Property was built in 1914 and has an effective year of 1954. It's 1,922 square foot living area with a full part area basement and no basement finish. Has 2 full baths and for lot size it's 4,042 square feet. Land influences are bus route and the light traffic. 2025 assessed value is $270,000 or $140,048 per square foot. The 4 comparables, they're all located in St. John's neighborhood. Comparable number 1 is 295 Inkster Boulevard. Is a 2.5-story multifamily conversion built in 1913 with 1953 effective year built. Is a 1,914 square feet living area with a full basement. It has basement finish and the 2 full bathrooms. It has central air conditioner. Lot size is 4,200 and $3,000 and heavy traffic as an influence. Subject property was sold in September of 2021 for $300,000. Time adjusted to April 1st, 2023, the value is $293,400. Comparable number 2 with a street address of 281 St. John's Avenue is a 2.5-story multifamily conversion building built in 1907 and effective year build of 1927. Living area 2,070 square feet. Has a full basement and the basement finish. 3 full bathrooms. 3,098 square feet lot size. This property sold in July of 2021 for $290,000. Time adjusted value is $288,000. Comparable number 3, located at 365 College Avenue, is also a 2.5-story multifamily conversion building with a 1914 year build and 1922 effective year build. Living area 2,153 square feet with a full basement, no basement finish, 2 full bathrooms, 4,907 square feet for lot size. Sale price in August of 2021 was $237,000. Time adjusted sale price $233,400. And the last comparable I have is 411 Charles Street. 2.5-story multifamily conversion building built in 1905 with effective year of 1935. 2,048 square feet of living area, full part area for basement finish, and it has no basement finish, 2 full bathrooms, lot size 5,194 square feet. Land influences commercial adjacent. This property sold in April of 2020 for $203,000 with a time adjusted value of $226,500. Now, when we say multifamily conversion, means that property has been converted to accommodate more than one dwelling unit. So subject property has 2 dwelling units. According to MLS listing, I was able to determine that the main floor has about 2-bedroom unit and the upper floor has a 3-bedroom unit. For comparable number 1, it has 2 2-bedroom units. Comparable number 3 has 3 units, 2 2-bedroom and 1 bachelor. Comparable number 3, 1 4-bedroom unit and 1 2-bedroom unit. And comparable number 4 has 1 1-bedroom unit and 1 4-bedroom unit. Subject property, I have to add following information that most recent sale of subject property was in 2012 for $215,000. Also, there was an MLS listing for subject property in April of 2016, which states that it's a great duplex that has been extensively remodeled with fully split utilities, newer kitchen, windows, bathrooms, and more. Basement has been spray foamed recently as well. So that's about subject property. When I look at the comparables, and I also did a drive-by of this property, and on the exterior, I did notice some stucco that was cracked and patched, which shows some degree of wear and tear. I did speak to the property owner trying to get an inspection of this property. However, that wasn't available to do a full inspection. So reviewing the 4 comparables, it does look like that subject property's assessment of $270,000 is on the higher end. And based only on what I was able to observe about subject property on the exterior, I believe that comparable number 3 would be one of the better comparables for subject property. And I would be recommending lowering the assessment of the subject property to something similar to what comparable number 3 is, which is $230,000. Thank you very much. That's all for my presentation, and I am open to your questions.
So if I may just clarify, your recommendation is to reduce to 233,000, is that correct?
230,
230.
and I'll give you a price per square foot right away, so. Which is $119.67 per square foot.
Miss Mr. Dovidia, how do you feel about that recommendation amount?
Uh, Based on my other comparables, I believe it's still too high.
Hey, Mr. Dovidia, do you have any questions on the executive presentation?
No, not this time.
Ms. Anderson? Any questions?
I have no questions at this time. Thank you.
Mr. Arnall, any questions?
Just what was the asking price in the MLS in 2016?
I think it was 200 original to 29. It was further reduced to 219. So 220, 299.
Okay, thank you.
So all of these properties are multifamily, correct?
Correct. The four comparables that I have presented.
And the subject property as well?
Yes.
Okay, I have no further questions. Mr. Dovidia, you may begin your presentation.
Yes, I just want to confirm the property addresses that I sent with the comparables. You have them all. I'll go through them. It's 222 Atlantic Avenue, 258 Atlantic Avenue, 318 College Avenue, 326 College Avenue, and 365 College Avenue. Are you able to confirm the evidence I submitted?
Okay, we have 222 Atlantic, 258 Atlantic, 318 College, 326 College, 365 College, 363 Salter, 266. Okay, that's the subject property, yeah. Everybody has those?
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
we confirm.
Okay, great. So just with the comparables, I would like to note the one that isn't relevant. I just noticed was 363 Salter. That's a detached single dwelling. So to put that one aside and looking at the other properties, the square footage, the time adjusted sale price for these range anywhere between, on the low end, $65 a square foot. And then one of my properties was the same as the city assessor, which is 365 College. That one came in on the high end of $108 a square foot for a time adjusted sale price. Looking at each property, the comparables, each one is the exact same. They're all multifamily conversion, 2.5 story, each comparable. So yeah, like I mentioned, on the low end is 65 time adjusted square sale price up to 108. Comparing that to mine is currently at $140 for time adjusted sale price. I believe it should be in the range of approximately $73 a square foot for time adjusted sale price if it would sell in the current market. With that in mind, the adjuster also mentioned the cracking on the outside of the Viston building. I would like to also mention that we were unable to set up interior of the property inspection due to it's currently a rental property. So I have to give notice to both tenants. They have to be available for him to come see the property, and that is something I'm still in back and forth communication with him to set that appointment up so he can come and actually see the inside of the property and the condition of it.
Okay, nothing further then in your presentation?
No, not this time.
Mr. Agdarkanoff, have you got questions for the applicant?
Yeah, I just got a quick question. So Mr. Davidia, did you, when you picked your comparables that you have presented, did you look in any further into a condition of the properties that you have presented at the time of sale?
I went by the sales data that's available to me on the city website.
Okay. Okay, are you aware that some of the properties that are in your presentation have been sold as a renovation project? So basically, not a move-in ready condition, so you'd have to invest quite a bit of money before somebody can move in into it.
That would make sense with the lower price and with
Yes.
me as well. That is something that we would still have to set up so you could see the interior of my property so that you would have a better judgment of actually the condition it is and what needs to actually be done.
Yep. Those are all my questions. Thank you very much.
Mr. Arnold, any questions?
Yeah, so what actually has to be done to the inside of your property?
So the second unit, suite number 2, it's completely plaster. There's no drywall in that property, in that unit. It's all the existing from. I purchased the property in 2012, and that was the condition it was in. Since I've owned it, I've done no renovations to the property whatsoever on the interior. It's all from the existing. When I bought it in 2012, I've had tenants throughout the years, and the property with tenants and wear and tear has lived in it, multiple tenants, and it has significant repair needs to be done in both units, I believe, to bring it to a resellable condition at a higher price point.
So have you had quotes on these repairs?
I don't have any quotes here that I presented, but I have quotes from contractors, but I did not provide any at this time.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes, thank you. You indicated you have tenants in both units in the building. There's been tenants throughout since 2012? Multiple.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been multiple tenants throughout the years in both units, and there's been turnover, and for the majority of the time, it's been tenant occupied, yes.
Okay, and can you share with me what rental you charge a month?
Yes, suite number 1 is $11.33 a month, and suite number 2 is rent of $12.40 a month.
Okay. Thank you very much. Those are all my questions. Thanks for your presentation.
And what's the value that you're looking for, Mr. Davidia?
Yeah, so looking at the other comparables I presented with the evidence, it brings mine to approximately $72.53 a square foot, which would bring it to an assessed value of $140,000.
So how did you get that $72 from your comparisons?
So yes, so from all my comparables down from $65 on the low end up to 108, I took an average of all those, and that brings it to $72.53 a square foot.
So most of them were on the lower end then?
Yeah,
65 to 108.
Yeah, 60. Yeah, the highest one is exactly like the city assessor had, which is 365 College at $108.41 a square foot.
Okay, no further questions. Anything in summation, Mr. Agdarkanoff?
Yeah, no, just again, like we both presented our evidences, and they're in front of you. property owner does ask for, in my opinion, a lower value of $140,000 when he considers properties that have sold that require major investments into them before they can be usable structures. We both have 365 College as one of the comparables. Like in my view, it is the best comparable. In property owner's view, it is the one that's on the higher end. When I look at what subject property has been purchased for in 2012, which is $215,000, does bring the overall condition of the property into $200,000 range. And although the neighborhood does have lower end sales, they are typically inferior buildings and in a much worse shape, as I have mentioned, according to the listings in 2016. Subject property has been renovated, so it's not in an original state. Probably a bit more worn down today than it was 10 years ago or 12 years ago when he purchased it, but still it has been renovated versus lower end comps that have not been. So in my opinion, 365 College is, as I mentioned before, is a better comparable. And that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Okay, anything in summation, Mr. Davidia?
That was for me, right? The video?
Pardon me?
You were speaking to me, Davidia, last name?
Yes, Davidia, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Just wanted to confirm. No, I just would like to just mention due to the time constraint of this meeting, we were unable to set up a meeting for the inside of the property, and I believe that would be important for the city assessor to come see it. So I plan to continue our email communication and set something up so you can see the inside of the property.
That then concludes this matter of 266 Cathedral. Thank you very much for your presentation, Mr. Davidia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What was this? Court of Beach Zone? Yeah, sure. No contact? Then we are going to go to the next property, item 8441 Langevin. And there is no applicant available. So we will go in camera to decide whether we will hear this property or not. Okay, we are back in order. The board has considered the matter of hearing the property, item 8441 Langevin. And we have decided that we will hear it. So Mr. Agar Knopf, you can begin your presentation on this property. Where did you go?
Mr. Assessor, I think you are muted.
Yes, thanks. I just noticed. I read part of it and I was like, here you being a bit confused there. I was like, oh yeah, I don't have my camera on and I'm muted. All right, so let's start over. My apologies for that. So subject property, roll number 0607061900, located at 441 Langevin Street in central St. Boniface neighborhood, is a two-story multifamily conversion. Built in 1963 with the same year effective age. Living area 2,442 square feet. It's with a full basement. It has a basement finish, 4 full bathrooms, detached multiple garage, 6,376 square feet of lot size. Assessed value is $572,000. Subject and the four comparables presented are all located in either Central St. Boniface or North St. Boniface, which is comparable number 4. Best comparable, in my opinion, is comparable number 2. They are all multifamily conversions. Subject property is a 4-dwelling unit. Comparable 1 is 6 dwelling. Comparable 2 is 5. Comparable 3 is 3. And comparable number 4 is 4. Subject property did have a sale in March of 2021 for $601,000 with time adjusted value of $615,000. The assessed value of $572,000 does appear to be supported, and I ask the panel to confirm it. Thank you, and I'm open to your questions.
Mr. Arnall, any questions for the assessor?
No questions at this time.
Ms. Anderson, any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
And I have no questions. That then concludes the matter for this property, 441 Longevin. And we have heard all the items scheduled at this hearing, and it is now adjourned.
Okay, well, all right. Thank you very much, and you
Thank you
guys
very
have a
much.
great day.
You too. Take care.
Okay,
You
bye.
have a good day.